Hi, and thank you for visiting our site. My name is Dustin Rose, and I'm the CEO of Cashflow Links, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what our company does and show you how you can work with our company. We got started in 2003. I began investing in California, doing some fix and flips. I bought some turnkey rentals out of state in 2007 in Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico, and Mississippi. And eventually I ventured into Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, which is where I mainly invest today. I flipped multiple properties and have held many rentals over the years. As I had said, in 2007, I began investing out of state. In 2011, I had some friends ask me what I was up to, and I explained to them my philosophy I was using. They asked if I was selling any of my current properties, and that's when I realized that there was a market for these turnkey properties and fix and flip turnkey systems that I use today. I've learned through experience how to increase profit and minimize risk and expenses. A lot of that through trial and error, which I'm going to go through. My philosophy really starts from the mistakes that I've made and what I've learned. I've owned property that has had pipes burst, and my repairs are $3,000 or $4,000, and it wipes my cash flow out for a couple of years. Same thing with electrical. I've had poor wiring and had to constantly call out electricians. I've had bad furnaces. I needed to replace those, which cost $3,000 or $4,000. Roofs. I've had to replace roofs, and of course that can wipe your cash flow out. And what I learned was that you can actually replace plumbing in a house, especially if it's a raised foundation, pretty cheap. The same thing with electrical. If you're going to open up the walls anyway, putting in a new furnace and a roof on a new roof, it doesn't really cost that much money to do. If you do it up front, you have the connections with contractors. And so my philosophy became that I wanted properties that had all new mechanicals, meaning a new roof, a new water heater, a new furnace, all new electrical, and all new plumbing. And that became a stickler for me. I didn't want to own property that did not have those things. And what I found was my maintenance bill went way down, basically to nothing, because of these things, because this is what matters in owning rental properties, not how nice the cabinets look, or if you have granite or Formica. The thing that's important is that you understand that these items need to all have warranties. So you want to buy reputable product, and you want to have contractors that have licenses or insured, and if something comes up, that they will honor their work, and they will come back out and fix anything that to be fixed, because that will happen. The tenants that you place in your property are so important, and this is where property management comes in, and you need to make sure you have the right company. The wrong tenants can cost you thousands of dollars, and that's from needing to evict them, the months that they don't pay rent, and then your re-rent fees, and also the cost to make your home rent ready again. What I do when I have applicants is I spend a lot of time, and I have my property management company do a lot of the initial homework. The first question to ask is, did they receive their deposit back from the last rental? Now, hopefully, obviously the answer is yes. But even if it is yes, you don't want to stop there, because many times they get their deposit back just from a negotiation and a deal from the landlord and the owner to make sure that they don't do any more damage to their property. This is the key question. How much did it cost that owner to make the property rent ready again? That's the answer that you want to know. And you want to know that in the last several properties that they've lived. Some owners won't answer that question in detail, and I can understand that. On the applicants that I cannot get those answers, I avoid those renters. The reason for that is I have skipped over those steps before, and in every situation it ended up costing me a lot of money. And I found that I have to have a checklist, and I have to stick to it, because owning rental property is just like owning a business, and you need to make sure that you have your checklist of what you need to to follow in your game plan, and you need to make sure you do it to a T. Patience is worth the wait. Many times I wait 2 or 3 months before I find the right applicant I want in my home. But what I have found is having that patience saves me so much money down the road. What I look for in my tenants are long-term tenants, people who have rented for a long time, and people who look like they're going to be renting for a long time, meaning they have credit challenges, but their rental references are great. As I had mentioned, the re-rent fees are expensive. They cost you a month of cash flow. So if someone moves out or you have to evict them, the first month that they get placed by the property management company, if the rent's $700 a month, if they place them at the end of February, well, in March you won't receive a rent check for $700. The property management gets that check. You would get the check the next month. One thing I found in properties is that carpet can actually end up hurting your cash flow when renters move out. Now, sometimes you can get away with just steam cleaning the carpet and you're fine. But many times, even if you ask them not to have a pet, you find out that your tenants had a pet. And when the padding gets soaked with urine, or there's many spills, if they have young children and there's many spills, a lot of times you cannot get that carpet ready again. And that ends up costing you quite a bit of money. A lot of times over $1,000 to put new carpet in the house. What I found is if you lay laminate down instead of carpet, it can save you a ton of money when people move out. Because if something's spilled, well, it doesn't ruin anything. You just wipe it up. If there's an animal that, goes to the bathroom on the laminate, again, it can be wiped up. It can be cleaned. Also, if there's a repair that needs to be made, well, the laminate can be taken up one board at a time, and it's very easy to repair small sections. The property management company you use is very important. They should be bringing you ideas for increasing your cash flow and lowering your expenses. They should offer you those ideas. So if there's a pattern in the neighborhood of homes they're managing and they're saying renters are paying more if a property has a certain thing, they should be letting you know. Also, for lowering expenses, if there's a deal going around from the local utility company that lowers your electric bill, if you do something to your property, they should be letting you know about that. They should also help you sort through the possible tenants to find the right one and help you with your homework. They should also not charge you a re-rent fee if the tenant moves out within 6 months. This is very important. They obviously are going to help you find a tenant, but they're going to do what they do and place one. And if that tenant moves out early, there's no reason to be paying a re-rent fee for that. For example, I had a property. This is in Jackson, Mississippi. The property management company placed that tenant, collected a 1 month fee up front. They paid 1 month's rent. After that, never got a check again. It took me 2 months to get them out of the home, so I lost 2 months of rent. I had to pay about $3,000 to make the home rent ready again. And then when I went to rent the home, the company wanted to charge me a re-rent fee again. Well, naturally, I didn't think that was a good idea, and it was from there that I learned you want to work with companies that understand the business model of, hey, sometimes things do come up in business, but they need to work with you. Property management should be contacting you with potential problems on your property from driving by once a month. It's very important. If you're getting ordinances in the mail that say your weeds are too high or there's something going on at the property that is visual from the outside, well, this isn't something you should receive without getting notice from your property management company first that there's something going on. And so it's very important that property management company is in communication with you and they're active in looking over your property. One of the things I learned is that I like having my properties with the ability to have multiple exit strategies. When I own property here in California, I do flipping here when the market's hot, when the hedge funds are here. I've sold many of my flips to hedge funds before I even started the rehab. But for the properties I've had that I haven't sold to hedge funds, or the hedge funds, didn't work out in the end and I had to sell it retail, I'm always paying the expenses. And so if I have a hard money loan, those expenses continue to add up. And at some point in time, you have a calendar and you know where the numbers are going. Eventually, it's just not going to work and you're not going to make money. And so I don't like being in that situation. What I have found is that in going around the country and investing in, Arizona, New Mexico, Idaho, Mississippi, many places, I ended up in Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania because I found that I could buy good properties with really good cash flow in those areas that I couldn't find in other places. Meaning that I found a lot of places I could make great cash flow around the country, but it was very, very bad areas where I found places that were really nice, but my cash flow was under the 1-to-1 rent ratio. What I found in these areas is that I can buy properties for, let's say, $70,000 that are in a really legitimate B area that rent for $900 a month. And so that's what I like about the areas that I'm in. Now, as far as the exit strategies, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what can the property rent for? This is very important. If you're going to be into it for $70,000, can it rent for $900 a month, $1,000 a month? The reason you're asking yourself this question is, what's your worst case scenario, and is that worst case scenario acceptable to you? In all the properties I've done, I've looked back and found that every 2 or 3 properties do not go the way I initially planned. And it's important to know the facts about each way your property could go and how it could work out. And in the end, is each possible scenario okay with you? So I'll give you an example in a second. The other things you want to do are be able to refinance and pull money out and sell your home for profit. And of course, if you're going into a flip, then that sounds great. But you still need multiple exit strategies with a worst case scenario that's okay with you. For example, here's a property that we recently did. The purchase price was $68,500. Rehab was going to be $12,000, and with $500 in buying cost, my initial cash in was $81,000. My resale price, I listed at $95,000. Now there were comps at $105,000 and $109,000, but it's important to remember that you never really want to take the high comps for your ARV, because again, you're looking for worst case scenario. What are homes selling for in the area that haven't been remodeled but are still nice and selling? If you can get to a point you can sell your property for that price and you're still happy with the outcome, that's where you want to be for your ARV, because your risk is low. Now, a breakdown of this is, if you bought the property in your first month, you sold it, you would make 14% on your money after selling cost if you used a realtor. Now, the key here is this. This property rents for $950 a month. So after expenses, you're at $843 a month. Of course, with property management, if you add another $100 a month there, you're at $743 a month. Let's use an example here of $700 a month. If you were netting $700 a month, the cash flow would be $8,400 a year. So if you netted $8,400 a year off an $81,000 investment, well, you're doing okay. You're making over a 10% return. The question is that acceptable to you? Now, let's say you went to sell this place for $95,000. Maybe you put it on the market for $105,000 and you got it. Great. You even did better than you thought. Let's say you put it on the market for $95,000 and you got it. Great. Obviously, if it took you 12 months to sell it, you made, $21,000 total dollars with rent in your profit, you'd probably be very happy. But let's say it didn't work out like that. Let's say that the offers that came in, you initially had to sell it for $85,000. Well, if you sold it for $85,000 and you made $4,000, well, you probably wouldn't be very thrilled with making a 5% profit on an $81,000 investment. But here's the trick. Let's say it took you 10 months to sell that property and you were collecting $700 cash flow net a month. Well, you would make $7,000 plus the 4, so now you made 11. Because the one thing that cannot change is the property can be rented, and you will make that cash flow. And so whatever you sell the property for is going to add on to the rent that you collect. So if you made $11,000 off an $81,000 investment, all of a sudden how you feel about the investment changes. And that's very important to understand and to look at the multiple scenarios and what your worst case scenario is. What we offer at Cashflow Links are a couple of different systems. One is Turnkey Properties, just like the one you saw before. We'll buy those properties and we put in all new mechanicals with warranties on them. That, if something goes wrong, you're not going to have to worry about it because it's going to be covered. And you're going to have all those warranties in your hand. We carefully select our tenants by your own standards. Many times what we do is we buy these properties, fix them up, put a renter in them, and 6-7 months down the road, we start selling them through our investment clubs and various sources. And we take our profit and loss statement for the last 6 months and we show it to investors who then become very interested in seeing a property that is clearly rented with all new mechanicals, and they like the numbers. A lot of the turnkey properties have multiple wealth building strategies as far as paying down the mortgages quicker, using the renters paying the rent to build your wealth. There's a link at the bottom of this page for our turnkey video, which actually describes these strategies in detail. You can actually start with the turnkey properties with as little as $10,000. The reason why it's $10,000 is the loans that our lenders will do will be as small as $40,000. Generally, on a $40,000 loan, you'll need to put down 25%, which of course comes out to $10,000. Now, for investors with 10 or more properties in their credit, what we do is we have lenders who actually do blanket loans, and they take your single family homes and package them in a commercial loan to where your 10 properties would now show up as one on your personal credit. And so initially, basically what you can do is have 100 single family homes in your credit if you use a strategy like that. So that's one of the things which is also on our turnkey video in detail. Fix and flip properties, we have a turnkey operation. The deals we present come with comps, of course, to support our ARV. We provide a contractor bid, and our contractor team is available to perform the rehab if you want. We send you a video of the property and neighborhood. The property you saw before this and a couple pages ago, if you go to our fix and flip page, you'll actually see a video of that property, which is a type of video we provide our investors. The property management company provides a report of the neighborhood and rental comps, which is very important, so you can understand the crime data, what's going on there. These properties all come with multiple exit strategies. One, of course, is the idea of flipping the property. Two, of course, is you can keep it as a rental, and you'll be able to look at the numbers beforehand and decide if you had to keep this as a rental, would you be okay with it? You, of course, can refinance the property, pull money out, and from there you can go do other properties and that type of thing. We have a fix and flip video which goes over all these things in detail with many examples. We also offer property tours. We do these all the time with investors. A lot of times this is the best way for an investor to start to feel comfortable investing in our system when they see our operation and learn the area and neighborhoods that we do business in. You can come out to these areas with us, meet our contractors, our property manager, our brokers that find us the homes, our lenders, and really just get to know our operation, get to know us. And this is where it usually starts with investors feeling comfortable to take that plunge and start building their real estate portfolio with us. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please feel free to sign up for a property tour. If you click that link, you can put your name in. Just let us know that you'd like to go on a tour. Or, of course, you can watch our turnkey video or fix and flip video. And feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. And Let us know if you'd like any more information. And thanks again for watching.